It's an open meeting, anybody.
Okay. Okay, the Rio Rancho Board of Education special board meeting for Tuesday, September 5th is now called to order. If all would please arise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Gary Triple.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. JC, can you take a roll call for us?
President Galbraith.
Present.
Vice President Morgan.
Present.
Secretary Scott.
Present.
Board Member Tripp.
Present.
Board Member Tyler.
Present.
We have a quorum.
All right, thank you so much. I would like to welcome everyone to our meeting tonight. We'll go to approve the prioritized agenda and proposed time allocations.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the prioritized agenda and proposed time allocation.
Board Member Jeff Morgan, I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries 5-0. We'll now consider a motion to convene an executive session for the purpose of discussing the purchase, acquisition, or disposal of real property or water rights by the public body, specifically for the superintendent to inform the board about potential property transactions as permitted under section 10-15-1H8 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. And JC, can you take a roll call vote for us?
Vice President Morgan.
Yes.
Secretary Scott.
Yes.
Board Member Tripp.
Yes.
Board Member Tyler.
Yes.
President Galbraith.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, thank you. We'll now convene into executive. All right, we call our meeting back to order. The board met in an executive session on September 5th, 2023 for the purpose of discussing the purchase, acquisition, or disposal of real property or water rights by the public body, specifically for the superintendent to inform the board about potential property transactions as permitted under section 10-15-1 H8 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act. The discussion was limited to the subjects identified in the motion to close the meeting. We'll now go to consider the approval of the land exchange agreement between Rio Rancho Public Schools and the City of Rio Rancho. Mike Baker will present.
Madam President, Dr. Cleveland, members of the school board, I think what I would like to do is just kind of sum up the land exchange agreement between the City of Rio Rancho and Rio Rancho Public Schools. Essentially, this is a three-part exchange. The first part is the school will convey 1.43 acres at 193 Cabazon near Maggie Cordova Elementary School, appraised at $250,000. In addition to that, the school district would agree to terminate the leased property at 4477 9th Avenue, also known as the old Shining Star Preschool site, in exchange for 6.21 acres of city property at 4531 Northern Boulevard, appraised at $500,000. That exchange would not include any payment from either party, and RRPS will cause to be removed all buildings from the old Shining Star preschool within 90 days after the exchange. The City Council has approved the exchange, and if the board so desires to approve it, it will then move on to the next step, what will be the State Board of Finance. I will stand for questions.
Will we have a cost to remove those buildings?
The buildings are not owned by us. They are owned by the Navajo Technical University. And so they are planning on removing those buildings, but they've been planning it for quite some time. And so we're hoping that those buildings will be moved very, very soon. However, there is, I believe, one, if not two, buildings that we will have to likely demolish and move, that they are owned, at least one of them, by a private individual that has yet to remove them.
Do we know what the cost for that is?
The cost, was it about 10 grand a piece or so? Yeah. It's about 10,000.
Okay. Any other questions? Jessica Taylor, any other
Let me
questions?
just ask a clarifying question, just real quickly. What happens if they refuse to move them or never come to remove them? What will happen at that point? The buildings, the ones that belong to the other, I mean, they were supposed to have removed them a long time ago, and then COVID hit, and there were all kinds of, and so we were pretty understanding with that. But at what point, if they don't come and remove them, we'll be done with those portable buildings?
If they don't do it, we believe that it looks pretty promising at this point, just because of everything that has happened.
Yeah.
One of the things that has happened is it has taken them quite some time to prepare their site. They had one of the moving companies, it's my understanding during COVID, there was 3 moving companies. 2 went out of business, and the one that stayed in business, I think, had 3 vehicles. 2 of the vehicles broke down. There was left for 1 vehicle. Almost all their moving of portables was with APS. It is my understanding that there is now another company. The first company, they did not want to move those buildings because it is on the other side of Grants, I believe, is where they're locating those. This second company is willing to do it, and it is my indication that it's supposed to happen fairly soon.
It is, yeah, yes.
So if it doesn't happen, we're going to have to remove them, and we'll probably just take them to the dump.
Anything else, Dr. Cleveland, that you
I
wanted to
just
add?
wanted,
Okay,
sure we're clear on that.
okay. No further questions? Okay. Do we have a motion?
So I'll make the motion, and we're making this, let me find-
We're on the back side.
It's on the back side.
okay, all right, thank you. Thanks, everybody. This is Board Member Jeff Morgan. I make a motion for the approval of the land exchange agreement between Rio Rancho Public Schools and the City of Rio Rancho.
Do we have a second?
Go ahead.
No one has second. I said, do we have a second? Do we have a second?
Go ahead.
I will second the motion. It's okay. Okay. JC, can you go for a roll call vote for us?
Vice President Morgan.
Yes.
Secretary Scott.
I would like to go on record that I am not convinced this is a good deal for the school district. However, it is a good deal for the community, and we're part of the community. So for that reason, I will vote yes.
Board Member Tripp.
No.
Board Member Tyler.
Recusing myself on this vote.
President Galbraith.
Yes.
This motion carries 3-1.
Okay. 3-1. Thank you so much for doing that. Thank you. I want to add to Secretary Scott, in hopes that our city knows that we are doing our best to try to get new buildings and land and opportunities for our school district. And so we really, really need help with that. And we do. We think this is a great thing for our community. And yet there's still buildings that we would like to build so that all of our students who live here in Rio Rancho have a home, have a school that they can go to receive the education that they need. And so we just hope that we can continue to have that partnership with the city and also with the community, and it's always been so good. We were talking about all the miracles that have taken place as we've tried to build schools throughout the history of this district. And so we hope, especially as we go into this bond election and all of those things that are happening, that we can continue to have that community support so that we can help the students of our district. And so we just really want to thank our community for always supporting us. Is there anything else from?
I agree with you, and I think it's important to for the community community to understand that we are several schools short of accommodating our students, and this property was dedicated for a school. However, we agree that the city can make a real benefit for the citizens of the community that include our students, and that's why we're voting yes.
Do we have any further comments or anything else? Dr. Cleveland, anything else you'd like to add?
No, I accept, you're right. It has been a continual battle from the beginning, and a lot of working together as a community. And I would just add, just super briefly, the loss of former Governor Richardson, just a thanks to him, because working with our community, our city leadership, our delegation, at a point when we were $50 million short of doing Cleveland High School, he stepped forward to help us, and it was a critical time for us. And so I just want to remember that in his passing, that effort helped us in this community immensely, and he was always a champion for Rio Rancho. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. Okay, so with that, our meeting for this evening is adjourned. Thank you. I should say this afternoon.